Brothers and sisters, within and outside our society in Africa or our continent, this will be the second part of our program today, and then we may come back to do the analysis in Wolof at a later date, but for today's program, we'll do it in English. If there would be anything in Wolof, it might be on another subject, but today's part of the program also is something that we are more or less obliged to share with other parties within this country also. This is your brother Essa Bokarr back. You've heard what we presented as far as sectarian violence and the way forward, or suggestions that could lead to a solution is concerned. I believe these are views that our landed scholars will be using to extend on their own research and analysis, and of course it is thought-provoking. So the second part of the program today is how the Gambian state or the Gambian president and his despotic regime want to use information technology to entrench themselves in power, and also use that as a threat, but a threat that is not seen. It is of course mixed within the minds of people, and also it is something associated with the activities of the state's invisible structure. So now, what have we got to talk about as far as this subject is concerned? The latest that we have got that was fed into our database is that President Yahya Jammeh, for all these years, has been trying to lay hands on certain software which he can use and then remotely access premises and offices without being known or seen by the parties who are under surveillance. That is not being used to promote state security, neither is it used for the interest of the country, but instead it is being used to feed the soul of a despot who uses whims and caprices to maintain a killer machine he calls a state or a government in power. Most of the time, people come out and say President Jammeh must have extraordinary powers because he knows things, and then people are made to believe that his soul is guided by certain unseen forces, which is absolutely false. Well, the most important part as far as fighting against certain regimes is concerned is that one needs to understand that such operations or this fight is not meant for speed. It is a fight that should be maintained by stamina. Now, let's look at it another point. Let's look at it in another way. Sorry. During President Jammeh's visit to New York, which of course is part of the process that people are engaged in, there were activities within his immediate circle that, I mean, I can say equipment caught and then disseminate it and then give the opportunity to people who could analyze and understand it. One of these is definitely going to shake Jammeh, and he would be surprised, but I have always been telling him that don't be surprised, never underestimate the mind of a human being, because the mind of the human being is the greatest machine as far as human intelligence is concerned. Remember, minds created electronics, not the other way around. President Jammeh has hired the services of certain tech-savvy individuals from Southeast Asia. Some of them are from China, be it mainland or Taiwan. When I say China, I'm talking about the two combined. And these people have been charged with the responsibility of installing software and, of course, equipment that would be matched with the operations of this particular software to be able to track and watch activities of people. When he came to New York, he had a laptop with him, per sources that are very close, and I know that these sources are, of course, not Gambians. That he has this software installed, therefore has the capacity of watching the activities of people, the premises of the State House in the Gambia, and also others at Kanilai. Of course, this is no magic, because even here in America, people who have their kids in school are usually encouraged to have such a software, and then can be monitoring the activities of the teacher and their kid in that particular class. Remote access, as far as the IT world is concerned, it shouldn't be a bluff, neither should it be something seen as a magic. But of course, within the city of blind men, the one-eyed man is the king. So that is what exists in the Gambia. Now, to the soldiers, some of whom are definitely living under constant fear for the simple reason that they don't know what is following them and why they are being accused blindly. Most of it comes from these equipment that he uses. Therefore, what we want President Jammeh to understand, that right now there is a team in the Gambia. He knows that secretly. We also know that he has hired the services of people from Turkey. And these particular individuals are running around the city. Sometimes they come to certain points where they watch and see parabolic antennas that are being operated by people who own their houses to see. I mean, it is sometimes it's just stage managed. If they want to target somebody, they will come and say that we believe you have a gadget within your house or something like that, when in actual fact it's not true. This may sound scary to people in the Gambia, but it is always important to let you know what's around you, because we live in a police state. We live in a state that is under siege, a state that has been hijacked by armed bandits calling themselves government. Beating them in the game of intelligence is always important, because this is not a question of, this is not a showcase, this is not a showboy arena. It is a question of survival. It is a question of life and death. We need to educate our society, sensitize them on what is surrounding them. Therefore, my fellow soldiers in the barracks know that that is how some of your activities are being monitored. And if somebody is suspected, even if you are not into anything subversive, if you are seen at the wrong place at the wrong time, your activities are associated with certain things, especially if you are blacklisted or based most of the time on suspicion or witchcraft. Because the equipment that he uses to track to look at, to observe the activities of people are also matched with certain people who are invited at the State House and given missions or assignments for occult reasons to do what they call the listikhar. Most of the time, the names of individuals within the government are deposited before these people, and they will look through the list. Of course, these marabouts, most of them are not God-fearing. They would need to have money from the president. Then they will say, this particular India, this particular India. It's a question, it's a market, it's a black market. Not for money, not for commodities, but a black market of human life. So those marabouts also would have their representatives in the government. If there is an infighting and the president brings that particular marabout, especially if you are recommended by a faction that has his other people that they are fighting against, they are the very ones who will recommend to the marabout the names that the marabout should pick or look at, and then he would advise the president that these particular individuals are about to overthrow you. That's why sometimes you surprisingly see the president arrest certain individuals, fire them or abduct them or kill them. That is it. Then this particular software that he has in his laptop uses around, I mean, it's nothing mysterious, neither should it be seen as some colossal achievement by a sophisticated government. Now, this is nothing extraordinary. This is the IT world. Those in certain countries, that's what they call the butterfly. You put it under a car, the people in that car driving and talking, he can hear what you are saying by using that particular laptop to understand. This is also another way that so I would suggest to any senior person that why not you avoid using your cars after working hours, or when you know that you want to express yourself freely. If you want to test this to see Jammeh's reaction, just start by stopping by abandoning your official cars after working hours. If many of you, of course, I know there are a lot of opportunists in Banjul who wouldn't venture into that, but if you start doing that, you will start seeing them following you and arrest you for no reason also, because they will know that now you've listened to the program, you know this exists, and you are avoiding your car. Be rest assured that any person who lives within a premises, within an area that has been provided by the State House, be rest assured that your residence is bugged. Of course, this is not something that is I'm saying as if, oh yeah, this is deep intelligence. No, this is common sense. I know that some of you know that you're bugged, but do you know the meaning of a butterfly? Do you know the meaning of that? I mean, if anybody wants to pretend that you know everything about intelligence, go ahead and do that. But the point is that the reason why I'm exposing this mechanism being used by the state is that this is not a state. This is a group of armed bandits. That is what I'm explaining. Today we can hear people say, oh, my Viber Dohatut is not working anymore. My this, my that. There is a special team in town installing certain equipment because Jammeh's paranoia has reached the height of things, and these past days he has spent a lot of money on tracking information that leaks from Kanilai, from the State House or other government offices to other places, home and abroad. Let me tell you that. Of course, the methods used to counter the activity within the system, the people that we use, those people know, and there is no way that Jammeh can ever catch them. Instead, he would come to understand that he must stop somewhere. He cannot control the world. He cannot control time. That is something Jammeh must understand, whether he likes it or not. Nobody can imprison the minds of people. You can imprison their body, but not the mind. That is what is existing in the Gambia today. We will not reveal everything as we speak, but He knows what I'm talking about. The people involved in this know what I'm talking about, and definitely this is going to shake Banjul as soon as they listen to this program today. There is no doubt in my mind about that. We have another crack on these activities which has been received, and of course it will be, some of it that we can expose on the radio will be said, some of it that we cannot expose in the radio will be kept for other reasons, but so far this is what we have as far as the usage of remote access and other software pertaining to how to maintain this despotic regime in power is concerned. Thank you very much. That ends the second part of our program today, the weekend special. This is your brother Essa Bokarr C.